Blaze going to be on blue side, first ban, first pick, and in order, the bans and picks. Azubu Blaze banned out Aurelia, Nidalee, and Maokai. Najin Shield banned out Jace, Evelyn, and Sona. Blaze then picked up in order Katarina, Diana, Kog'Maw, Rumble, and Nunu. And Najin Shield with Malphite, Ezreal, Nocturne, Lulu, and a last pick Rise.
Yeah, so you can freeze frame that audio if you want to go over it again, but we're actually going to go right into this game. We can check it out, see what's going underway. You can see the teams, and right off the bat, you have to imagine that both teams are probably going to play kind of defensively early on because neither of them really have the greatest level 1, but we'll see. We've seen a lot of really aggressive invasion, a lot of really aggressive counter jungling from a lot of these teams in the past, and already Najin, they're actually staying together as a team, and they've pinged off the Wraith camp.
Yep. Shield, they are all getting straight on into position right across here on this brush on the South River. You got Rumble standing guard in front of the Wraiths just in case. Katarina peeking out in mid, making sure no one enters from the lane. But Shield, alas, is already in the brush getting ready for their preemptive strike. You do have Diana up here guarding the top jungle, and you also got Kog'Maw chilling in the bush.
I'm kind of wondering where Rumble's going if he's sitting out here. I know he's just giving them vision right now.
Yeah.
But interesting to see the Diana jungle, because we haven't actually seen that yet, but I know it's kind of been passed back and forth. Rise could actually almost flash snare, and that would be really dangerous. Rumble would go down almost immediately.
Shield muscles themselves on in. No harpoons from Rumble will actually be hitting any of Shield, but they got what they wanted. They got their ward right out in front of the Wraiths, so they're going to have a little bit of a better time tracking down the jungle Diana.
Yeah, and right off the bat, you see Nunu coming up. He's actually caught out of position. No snare coming in, so he's going to be able to get out of there. But it is a ward. He could actually walk up and steal the Wraith if he wanted to, but he's backed off. So he's just going to be backing off. Diana is starting with the Wraith, so not starting on the blue side. Might transition up there, but maybe start with red. And that would actually be really aggressive. A lot of times, you know, if you're starting with red, you want to get off early ganks. Otherwise, there's no reason to do it. You're just wasting the buff. So we'll see if Diana goes for anything early on. You know, she's pretty tanky, has a decent amount of damage, and if she gets the pullback, that could be really devastating.
Hoon right here on Rise, going to be entering mid versus the Katarina. We'll see how that lane progresses, and yeah, we will actually see the Kog'Maw with the Nunu, a fantastic pick. Going to be going down in the bot lane.
OP Kog'Maw style.
OP Kog'Maw, he is pretty OP at the moment, and we've talked about this on cast before, how huge Kog'Maw is right now.
Not OP, but it's very. I mean, OP
close.
late game.
He's close. He's pretty damn close if he gets fed, which most often in a lot of the recent pro matches we have actually been seeing him get to. So we got Ezreal still looking to farm on up. You got here Nocturne going to be starting up on that red. He's going to have double buff very soon. But Diana, alas, though, is already ahead. Already has a double buff. Has a little bit of a speed advantage there in the jungle. But is not quite going for any of those ganks just yet. Just content, sticking back, just farming for a little bit. And then after Nocturne grabs those Wraiths, we may actually see him transition into either gank in mid or gank top.
He could potentially set something up, but they have the ward at the race, so they should be safe.
Yep.
And going through the lanes real quick, you had mentioned the mid lane.
Yes.
You know, Rise, he does have a nice little advantage in there. Once he goes back, early on, he doesn't have enough mana to wear down Katarina, so it's a pretty even lane. It allows Katarina, you know, some time, but later on, Rise is going to be able to kind of bully her around a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see how that lane works, though, because Katarina's always kind of a question mark. You know, you want to see that mobility, you want to see those ganks, and her damage output's really nice. Top lane, Rumble has a serious advantage over Malphite, and early on, the first couple levels, Rumble struggles, but you know, once he gets going, he's going to be in a great situation. And already, we see Nocturne starting to pressure the mid lane. He might be going in on Katarina any second now, and he is moving in. Can they get him in time? The Rise, Flash, Snare, they're going to have this killed. The Fear as well. Actually, Shunpoing onto the minions, so is barely able to get out of there.
Flash Shunpo manages to get Katarina to safety, drinking up those potions, just trying to stay here in the lane. But if Nocturne does decide to come back around for another sweep, it could mean death. His Flash is at the very least still up, so he can go on and with that Q Flash, close the gap with that extra movement speed. May actually still connect with a kill there. But for the time being, though, Hoon, his Flash and Ignite are now both down.
And the big story this week, or one of the big stories, there were a lot of them, is that actually Reaper is off of Azubu Blaze. And in this match, they are not playing with Reaper, they're playing with a sub. It's unclear whether or not you know, he's with the team or not. Like, that hasn't been decided. They haven't made any official announcements. But they are playing with a sub instead of Reaper at this time.
So, with that, you look into farm right now very early on, and you see Diana has a significant farm lead Nocturne and jungle because he did make that attempt in the mid with really nothing to gain off it. He did not get that kill. He did not get an assist. He didn't get anything quite off that. So he has a little bit of time to try and make up. But you see Diana is more than just content, sitting around getting whatever farm in the jungle she can, and may actually be going around here. Finally, first attempt here from Diana. Maybe looking for a gank here in mid.
I don't know how they're going to set that up at level 4, though. I think Diana, for the most part, is watching to make sure Nocturne's not ganking mid. She's trying to put some pressure so she can come in if Nocturne's trying to do anything. But really, there's absolutely no way that Diana's going to be able to dive on Ryze in this situation. But you know who could get a kill? Nocturne coming up top on Rumble once again. He's way out of position.
There is the Q flash out of the way, but the Fear Tethers will still be there. Getting feared, walking away from his tower just for a short time, but will still be just fine. But that is a flash blown. That is a successful gank for the Nocturne. And Diana, and she really doesn't start get rolling in the jungle until you hit 6, until you can at least close that gap following the Q and then get the pullback. Pre-6, the ganks aren't all too strong, but then most junglers, a wide array of junglers, once you hit 6, just those ganking opportunities skyrocket, absolutely. Nocturne, fortunately enough, is not one of those. Granted, it helps. He doesn't necessarily need it. He still has the Q to close the gap, and he still has the Fear Tethers. But even then, with the old Nocturne, once he zooms in, his ganking opportunities zoom up exponentially high.
Yeah, Diana's interesting because she's an AP jungler, and there aren't a lot of really viable AP junglers. So she has really nice AoE clearing, which is one thing that, Fiddlesticks, for example, doesn't have. But as that assassin, she definitely has that zooming ability. We'll see if we get any woos while we're watching this.
We may very well. And just feel free while you're at home to just do the wee along with it, like you're going down the side.
Oh, Cat's so out of position, though. Ryze is short on mana, though.
You did. You put the Shunpo down onto the Nocturne, walking on backwards straight on into the Rune Prison, but will still be able to close the gap and get the tower.
He knows exactly how much damage output Ryze has at that low mana pool, so he's able to protect himself. He has the Shunpo to back out, and I don't know, it's actually really nice. He's putting on a lot of pressure. He forces Nocturne to deal with him, but at the same time, he's getting out safely.
Rumble farming at a distance with those harpoons. Is he going to be backing, though? He's just sitting in the bush. He's just chilling, trying to bide his time. Maybe make it, make it think that, oh yeah, by the way, I totally backed. I'm totally trying to go buy stuff. But he did back earlier, did get those spell pen boots, so he's looking for the increased damage. Also wants that mobility, considering he's had a visit from Nocturne also there in the top lane. He burned out the flash already. He wants to be a little bit more mobile. You also look at the rest of the team. Diana's got two of those Doran's rings, a little bit extra health, and the AP and the mana gen, going to be amazing. And also Ryze working for that catalyst.
Yeah, and going back to the top lane, right now it's a pretty passive lane. Rumble, he has the damage as he progresses and as he buys some items to eat through Malphite pretty quickly. Like, Rumble's damage just crushes Malphite because it's the sustained damage on his Flame Spitter. But Malphite has that killing potential, and particularly with Nocturne from a distance, to pick up kills onto Rumble. So it's, Rumble has to play safely, doesn't want to fall behind. And then he knows that eventually, if he just farms, he's going to be able to start taking over that lane. But it should be pretty even for the most part right now. Same thing with bottom lane. It's a very even lane, and mid is even as well. But I don't know. We'll see if they start putting any pressure on Kog'Maw. The issue is I don't know if they can stop Kog'Maw. I don't know if they can, just force a fight and kill him, because Lulu doesn't have the best hard CC. I mean, she has the slow, but I think with Nunu would provide enough separation and protection that they should be able to get Kog'Maw out of there if Nocturne comes down.
Yeah, but even if Nocturne does level up, he does get 6, he does get the ultimate, just zoom straight on into the back. You have the snowball, you have the ultimate also coming in from Nunu once he hits 6, which actually shouldn't be, there you go, just 1 or 2 more creeps, and that should actually be it.
Yeah, and having the attack speed on Kog'Maw is awesome. I mean, it's really, Kog'Maw and Nunu is a really strong lane early on in the game because you can exchange damage, but later on, Nunu provides that separation in team fights and really protects Kog'Maw. It reminds me, I remember a game with CLG Black where Hoodstomp was playing Kog'Maw with the Nunu support, and he actually, Hoodstomp, he got 2 Phantom Dancers when he already had the Nunu, which meant that he was getting to about 3 attack speed, but you can't, go past 2.5, and so Reggie, tweeted, congratulations to CLG Black's AD carry for buying more than max attack speed.
Hey, but there is still the crit chance. There is still the movement speed.
No, yeah, of course.
There's always
benefits.
That. There are benefits. There's funds better allocated elsewhere, but there's still stuff you can get from it. The Kog'Maw right out in front. He is also quite a bit low on mana.
Slow.
He is way out there. Stuck his neck out a little bit too far, but actually did not use the flash on that.
If Ezreal had hit that ultimate, though, he should have been able to get the kill with the Ignite, but he
could have
missed.
flash ignited. He could have flash ignited.
Yeah, just a little bit of a miss there. And Nocturne coming up top, this is great for them because they know that Rumble can take over that lane. They don't want to allow Rumble to farm. They can pick up kills pretty easily. Rumble is fairly squishy. He's coming right down the lane. They might just go for it under the tower. The Malphite ultimate. There's the initiation from Mokuza as well. They pick up the kill very easily. But at the same time, Diana coming down bot lane doesn't quite have the same success. They're able to zone her out. They're able to use their mobility, back off really quickly, and they're safe down bot. But a nice kill top, and that's exactly what they need in that Malphite Rumble lane.
And Diana with the Oracles taking out the protection of that ward there in the Tri-Brush, going to make the ganks a little bit easier for Azubu Blaze. But yeah, that is a Rumble up top. He did die. Also used the ultimate way too late on that too, so he's not going to be having that for a while either, just in case Nocturne decides to make another visit. But Diana, though, very good purchase on that early Oracles. You may not be having the best ganking presence right now, but at the very least, reducing that vision will make things a little bit easier for you guys in the moments coming up next.
Yeah, I think for the most part, Diana, again, is just, watching for the rest of her team, making sure they're safe. She might dive on Ezreal, though. He's really close to being in range. If she just hit him with a QR combo, it'd be kind of free damage, and, she'd be able to disable him for a second with her E. Because you can't arcane shift mid-animation, but I don't know, we'll see what she does. I mean, the jungling speed on Diana is very nice, and so she plays as more of a control jungler against Nocturne, kind of like how Skarner would be played, except later on she has that diving potential. She can kill the backline very easily, and I'm curious to see how effectively he can farm as jungle Diana, because that's the big thing on AP junglers. A lot of times you can't get the same item control that you would like to in a normal lane.
But for now, doing okay, about a 10 creep.
No, he's doing great.
He's doing great. That's fantastic.
Well, it's the jungling speed of Diana. He's able to use that jungling speed to his advantage.
Yep. But Nocturne could have had the option to actually finish out the Wriggles, but recognizing that Diana does have an Oracle's like, well, if you have one, I guess I need to get one. So that so Nocturne makes that purchase on his latest back, and he's going to start clearing out some of the ward coverage himself.
Well, and also having that Oracles, it allows him to pressure Dragon potentially. He can clear out those wards for those ganks, but also if they can force bot lane to back, they can just really quickly take Dragon because he does have that mid-red. So that's going to be a nice advantage for them. And actually, Malphite, he's going an AP build. So, it's not uncommon to see Malphite go into an AP build. If you want the spammability, you can go Chalice. A lot of times you'll go Dorans. But that's going to be huge. That actually swings it in his favor, which is interesting. So his damage output, he's able to just constantly harass down Rumble and bully him around, which I actually haven't seen before.
And even if he wasn't going for the AP build, if you're just going for straight out tank, I wouldn't even far expect a Chalice to be built no matter what, because you have that extra magic resist, and that's all that Rumble is going to be pushing out anyway, so you might as well. But there is a sneak there on the Dragon. Azubu Blaze picks that up really quick for themselves, but it's strange though, that Dragon actually equalized the goal. Just on the one kill and farm, Najin Shield have actually almost nearly carved out a 1k lead for themselves until
Diana
then.
Going for the blue, though, so they do get that gold advantage, like you said, but Ryze, he saw her walking past the ward, and actually she's diving onto Lulu, but I don't know if she has a good escape path. She needs to get to the rest of her team.
That could have been bad to Diana. You need to hold on to that Oracles. It's very early. It'd be a tragedy.
Oh, can Ryze take it back?
This early on, there is Ryze. He'll Lulu actually ended up stealing it, but there is Nocturne straight on into the backline. Wild Growth gonna be popping him up also, and that is a dead Diana. That's an Oracle's gone, and Nunu went down also. Does a double kill for the
Can Rumble turn it around for them, though? One kill.
Rumble with the ultimate does get the crush down onto Lulu.
He's going to get Nocturne as well, but Rumble's on his backside. Malphite, he's going to pick up the first kill, a double kill for Rumble.
Rumble now just needs to get out of that situation. He's got the scrap shield up. There's the ultimate coming in from Malphite, looking for that abuse. He does get the kill down on Rumble. Now it's Cat just in a full retreat, and the Rune Prism is more than enough damage for Ryze to get the kill onto the Cat. That is a 4 for 2. On that exchange.
That fight was absolutely brutal for Azubu Blaze. Najin's shield in complete control. Both of the top laners coming down, so really nice presence of mind there. But it started off, it was weird because it was a 4v3 in advantage of Azubu Blaze. But Najin's sword forcing, waiting it out a little bit. They were able to get Nocturne in the backline, and because they had already started the Dragon, Diana took a little bit too much damage on Dragon, and that's really what sealed the deal for them, was the fact that Nocturne could just dive onto Diana and pick up that kill really quickly, so it quickly swung into their favor. And not only that, but I don't know, it's just a nice gold lead. They're able to get the Dragon as well, I believe, but really nice play by Najin's shield.
Yep, so and there's also an Oracle's down on Diana, who decided not to rebuy. So it's going to be, well, granted, you know, Nocturne actually did lose his also, but still, though, it's an even gold swing now. Actually, both of them have
Diana coming up top, though. Nocturne's in range, but his ult is down.
There is the Q. Diana going on in, flashing out of the pullback. Malphite will be just fine, but flash used, so he's not going to be having that for quite a while still yet. So Diana going to be falling on back. Nocturne actually making his presence here in the top lane. He hasn't quite exposed himself yet, but he's going to be going there. There is the Rumble, going to be caught in by that Q. Meanwhile, also down bot lane, got plenty of damage going down onto Ezreal, but you still have Rumble still relatively close to tower, and Diana didn't exactly go too far away. The ultimate is actually back up. Pretty short cooldown, but that is the spell shield on Nocturne. There will be no way for Diana to easily port on over him without using the cooldown on that ultimate. Yeah,
did a really nice job getting out of there. The spell shield, it denied the vision, which was huge. Vinyl Cat almost going down. One more rocket almost from Kog'Maw would be able to take it down, and that's just the strength. I mean, it's, you know, there's some nice poke with the Ezreal Lulu lane. They can push pretty aggressively, but the long range of the Nunu Kog'Maw is just so powerful, and Kog'Maw really quickly is going to get into a deep damage build. He doesn't need to get that many AD items with how much attack speed he's going to have, and Bang being pressured as well. So Kog'Maw actually ahead of Ezreal right now, despite the 2 kills. Ezreal is ahead in gold because of those kills, but you know, still in a good situation.
And yeah, we got. Let's also take a look at the build currently on Kog'Maw, because he's got the Zeal already. He's got those Dorns also, and he could be getting the attack speed next also on his next back. So he's doing pretty okay for himself. You also look at Katarina, Haunting Guys, Spellbind. We've been seeing this a
Diana,
lot.
I think she's going to go in on Ezreal, though. He's really close to being picked off there if he just peeks in on the side. But yeah, they do back off. And yeah, the Haunting Guys, I mean, it's standard. It's, you know, the #1 item for Rumble to buy. But Nocturne coming in the bot side. Diana's going to try and counter this out some, but Kog'Maw's really low, so they don't have the AD support. But Makuza still drops very quickly. One more attack, and they're actually going to pick up a couple of kills here. Kog's very close to going down, but a trade of jungler for support definitely in their favor.
Yeah, and you just could not get the damage onto the Kog'Maw. He was safe, he was fine, and Ezreal used the ult earlier to try and clear the wave, so that is not available to him. He's not going to have that second chance to try and get that kill onto the Kog'Maw. And meanwhile, you also see Ryze. He is pushing up the lane down here in the mid, but Katarina was looking for something, looking for some kind of flank to try and come in behind tower, but there was no one there behind the turret. Ezreal ult did come back up.
They backed off. They had to get the hell out of there because Cat was coming down. They did see her with the wards by mid, and Hoon, you know, warding or clearing it off, but it allowed them to get the tower. So, you know, that pressure was a really nice job by Azubu Blaze, and it's helping pull them back in this game. It's just a 1K disadvantage right now, but their late game is phenomenal. If they can just keep on holding off, both teams actually have a really strong late game, so it's going to be really even. But you know, Kog'Maw could be the turning point, and if Diana can start the snowball, like that's what they want. They want Diana to pick someone off, start the snowball for Katarina, so Katarina can, you know, just carry through, pick up a couple of kills, and have Kog'Maw as well for the cleanup.
The Oracles has been rebought here for Azubu Blaze, so Diana, don't lose it again. That would be disastrous. We need you to be holding on to that money, especially when you're at a little bit of a gold disadvantage for time. It is nothing too huge. It is only 1K, but here the push in mid. Rumble has wandered on down from top. Nunu's going to be covering that just for a moment, just to try and defend the lane, just to make sure that the creep wave is relatively even. You also have Kog'Maw actually on his own looking to 2v1 because Lulu and Ezreal still deciding to push. The push from mid is going to back off for a second though, because they recognize there is no tier 1 tower here for Najin's shield. If there is a push, there's going to be a longer distance.
Oh, Diana's really close to getting in, but just barely can't.
The ward though does spot her out, so that the cover has been blown, but with the Oracles, you will be able to clear it out. The mystery shot does land, so Ezreal does know Diana is still hanging around, but blue buff safely going to be taken by Ryze this time around. There will be no contest on that. Dragon is also back up, hence why you see so many people here wandering around the mid, wandering around the bot. You're just looking for their moment, looking for the opportunity. Can you sneak a Dragon? Can you get there without anyone noticing? And neither team will be able to, clearly. But when it does, when everyone decides to engage, it could be a pretty explosive fight.
Oh, they have to watch out, though, because, you know, it is the 5v5 fight. Ryze is mid, so he's not really positioned with the team. They know he's there, but they won't be able to take the Dragon fast enough. Diana, though, pulling back Malphite. They have to really watch out, though, because he's going to ult back into him. They're all in a tight little AoE. Malphite jumps into him. Ryze as well. They get off a quick damage. Katarina throwing off her ultimate, but can't quite pick up the kill, though Malphite does go down. Rumble drops as well. Makuza's about to drop, but can Bang pick it up because he's looking great right now. Ezreal turning it around. Quadra kill. Can he get the pentakill? He's very close to picking it up. Actually, Ryze edited, so just a triple kill. But there it is, the double kill. So the full house for Najin shield.
Not too bad. And you saw that Diana got low in that fight, edged down. Is like, I'm just going to hang out here. I'm just going to hang out on the back end. I'm not going to do a whole lot. I'm not going to contribute a whole lot because I don't want to lose this Oracles. Oh, wait, you're all dead. Well, I guess I'll try and go in, and it's just a little too late at that point.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that they decided to force the fight in that situation because they really, they pulled themselves into a tight enclosed space. They had no pressure on Ryze or Ezreal, and that's all of the damage source for Najin Shield. They were trying to wear down Malphite before he could get off an ultimate, but really, he's just too tanky at this point. They pulled themselves into a dangerous situation, and Najin Shield took advantage of it, and that's a huge gold lead now and a missed opportunity for Blaze.
Yeah.
But we'll see, how they can push it back. Makuza, he's, farming pretty well. He's kind of getting tanky, or he's going to be able to start getting tanky. He's at the right point in his build, but
well,
I don't know, it's an interesting spot.
Well, actually, a lot of the other members of the team are actually starting to tank up because Ryze actually going with the Rod of Ages, which does denote a bit of a tanky Ryze. That's not an item you'd usually used to see him build, but now his AP scaling is a little bit better. He can itemize into it. It's like, hey, I want a little bit more health. I want a little bit more mana, scale off mana anyway, and that is going to be a relatively a more tankier Ryze than usual.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a little bit weaker because of the lack of resist than the old Ryze that you used to see. But there's Nocturne, oh, he gets the flash off barely. The Fear is still going to hit. No, he just barely breaks that Fear tether, so he's able to get out of there. But the key is when Ryze can start getting Glacial Shroud, get that armor, get that cooldown reduction. Though actually it's a magic team, so he'll probably just get some quick magic resist, and that'll definitely help him out with damage.
Ryze could also grab that Banshees too.
Yeah.
It's just, he's got this.
Well, that's what you used to get instead of the Rod of Ages. It's just when they upped his AP scaling, everyone got excited about getting some AP.
Well, still, I mean, you're not completely losing out. You're still getting a little bit more damage for your buck, and you get some health also on top of your mana, which is never a bad thing.
No, it's a fine item.
It's a fine thing. You got Kog'Maw off on the side, trying to get some free shots onto that turret, but is actually split away from the rest of the team in retreat. The ward over by the river does spot him out, and while that push is going on, you had Malphite actually pushing down on the top, getting that top tier 1, and now getting in position. His ult is not up yet, though, so he will not be able to get that massive engage that he used to like, but his presence here...
They're going to be able to drop the tower, though. That's all that matters for them right now.
Yeah, his presence here in mid against the 4 members here, now 5. Here comes Kog'Maw. The defense from Azubu Blaze, they see this push. They see quite a bit of slow. You got the Glitter Lance, you got the Mystic Shots. Like, man, there's a lot of poke here. Can we try and poke back? How can we defend this? Rumble ult is back up. Actually, all the ults are actually back up here for Azubu Blaze, so they decided to dive on in. We may see a little bit of mayhem here back in the mid.
Yeah, and right now, Najin Shield, they have a great mix of damage. The Abyssal Scepter in particular on Malphite, not only is it making him tanky, but it ups their damage drastically. It is a 5v3, though. They have to watch out Cog if he got caught out of position here. Once that Malphite ultimate's up, he's going to go for the initiation. I mean, he's waiting on that timer, and it is almost up, but they are backing off, so Azubu Frost can sit back for a moment. But Rumble split from the team, and that actually put them in a vulnerable situation.
He's like, hey, Rumble's top. I think it's time to push. His ult is not going to be there. His Rumble ult, there's a reason why they call it the Equalizer, because it is one of the best things you can have actually for counter initiations. Like, well, you're committing. I'm going to make sure that you stay and you commit and you are slowed and you're taking damage while you're here.
Yeah, so they do back off, but it's still a nice 5k gold lead for Najin Shield. They're in a great situation to pressure this game. They have a lot of damage to take Baron. If they, win a fight, they can force it pretty easily. But they still have to deal with that Kog'Maw. And I think having the Malphite and the Nocturne, it gives them enough backline penetration to take down Kog'Maw. And then you have to consider the attack speed slow for Malphite onto Kog'Maw. It really helps to shut him down. But they have a really great late game team with Ryze, in particular. Ryze is one of the highest sustained damage dealers for those mid champions, and that really is going to be pretty devastating, particularly against champions like Katarina and Diana, who are going to dive in. Ryze can try and shut them off a little bit. In
addition to all the damage and the slows and the CC they're going to be putting on the back line, Malphite continuing with that AP build buys himself a Deathfire's Grasp. So ultimate DFG slow. That's going to be a dead Cog if he gets in there with that ult along with the Nocturne. It's nearly guaranteed.
Yeah, and Lulu getting the oracles will pass off some ward coverage. Kog'Maw trying to poke down Ryze a little bit. He's a little bit low, so they might want to back off this fight a little bit. He's actually healed up pretty effectively, with some pots and with his ultimate as well. But it is almost up shortly, so we'll see if they force a fight soon. Malphite, his ult's up, everything's up, but Hoon actually using his ultimate just to regen himself a little bit. It's still a really short cooldown, and he'll burn through that pretty quickly. Also,
not to mention the passive. I mean, the cooldown's going to be going down. Just real quick, just use a few more abilities, farm up the lane, it'll be fine. That ultimately will be back up in just 15 seconds.
I am curious though, what Najin Shield's going to be doing right now in order to pull this game more in their favor, because they have a really nice gold lead, but they really can't push the towers that effectively, so they're kind of just holding off right now. They don't want to. They know they want to force one good fight that's going to win them the game, and that's the kind of situation they're in right now. Azubu Blaze, on the other hand, they need to pick people off, and I think for the most part they're comfortable with sitting back and farming. But we'll see if they force an engage with Diana, for instance, and try and just pick someone out of position. Like right now, they're split right now. They know Ezreal's bot, Malphite's top.
This is perfect. Yeah, this is the perfect opportunity, but there is a tower in the way. So you just need to wait for the creep wave to kind of push up. But while you're waiting, you have this massive wave gathering here on top. You got Ezreal, he had a massive wave now pushing down onto the bot tier 1 that's already down in half, trying to finish the job of what was going on earlier. And enough time was killed where the positioning didn't quite matter. They had vision on the entire enemy team, but they just could not split. They just could not do it. And now that you have Kog'Maw now out of position, now farming all the creeps that Ezreal left behind, and Katarina was actually a bit split. I think actually taking the blue, that was enough time for Shield to actually swoop on in and grab the dragon, get out. And there is the ult from Malphite down onto the mid, and that is a dead Diana real quick. Ult, that is the power of those two ults in conjunction. That is just a huge mess to deal with. CC and damage straight on the back line or wherever you need to. That is the power of the Malphite and Nocturne together.
The ranged initiation is just really strong. It's the fact that they have a little bit more solid of a means of picking people off. Diana, it's a little bit slower. It leaves Diana vulnerable, whereas Malphite and Nocturne, they're not going to be vulnerable. So that's definitely a great situation for them. And they know with all of the magic damage that's on the team, even Kog'Maw dealing a mix of magic damage. All of that MR is really, helping the team. They're going to be incredibly tanky and difficult for Azubu Blaze to deal with. And Azubu Blaze, they need to try and snowball the fights. Like, that's the point of their team. So, having that damage mitigation, it prevents them from getting low enough to be able to snowball it.
Yeah, Blaze needs to snowball these fights so they can get their snowball champions out of control, because Kog'Maw, he needs farm. Katarina needs damage, needs more items to keep that damage output up, because right now they're just being outclassed here. It's a 6.5k gold lead now for Najin Shield, and that translates into experience and items as you're seeing built. DFG on Malphite, he can afford that now. The fact that he can afford a DFG and it's no big deal and it's part of his build, and he's out damaging Rumble at this point, and Rumble is known for quite a big part of damage.
Oh, he has a lot more burst damage than Rumble does, but Rumble's sustained damage is more significant than Malphite. The issue is that not only does Malphite have the damage, but he's also vastly superior as far as tanking capabilities to Rumble. Rumble's still a squishy champion, so that's going to be an issue all game. But I don't know. We'll see if they can have enough damage to pull this off. Kog is still farming pretty effectively. He's pulling further and further ahead of Ezreal as far as CS is concerned, but Ezreal's still 6-0 and 4, and that's the huge advantage. It's actually Kog is doing well with his items, but Ezreal's just really pulling ahead, and that mobility. I don't know if they can take down Ezreal in these fights. I mean, Diana can dive on Ezreal, but he can just arcane shift away, and they won't have a great means of pursuing. So Ezreal's going to be pretty safe, while Kog'Maw's going to be kind of perturbed in that backline.
And in terms of farm, technically, every lane has actually won for Najin Shield, the most winning lane actually being top. Malphite having the biggest gold disparity between him and his lane opponent, Rumble. You look at the gold right here, it's over 2K. It's over 2K disparity.
That's because of the map objectives they've been able to take in the one-team fights, not necessarily the lane farming. Since you see that it's pretty even, except for that top lane. But Nocturne, he's actually going to force this onto Kog.
There is Nocturne actually going straight in for Diana. Kog'Maw's still relatively safe, and you got Nunu going down. First one in the fight. There's Ezreal front-loading more damage down onto the fight.
How much can Kog do?
You do have Kog. He's doing quite a bit of damage here on the backline, but that's a double kill for the Katarina, trying to get Ryze as he's flashing back over the wall. There's a triple for the Ryze, but Kog'Maw just closed the gap. Minion, get out of the way. Get out of the damn way. There is murder that needs to be happening.
That fight, it looked like it was completely won by Najin Shield, but there was no one on Cog in the back line. And so really quickly, they were able to burst down a couple of members, or Blaze was able to burst down, or I'm sorry, Shield was able to burst down a couple of members of Blaze, but then Kog'Maw had the turnaround. They were all low enough. They had taken a lot of AoE from Katarina because they wasted all their CC onto Diana. And the fear, it's a long-term thing. It's not like a quick instant disable. Their only instant disables are Lulu's ultimate and Malphite's ultimate, and Lulu's is more conditional. And that's actually leaving them really vulnerable to that Katarina ult. And then Cog being safe in the backline, he was still off in the river. That's why I'm kind of surprised Nocturne didn't engage on him. Yeah. But he was trying to force off Diana and, I don't know, just kind of get the team to clump on him for the Malphite ult.
Well, I think what happened, though, is that they had vision of Cog.
Yeah.
You have Nocturne, he actually throws on the ult, but he doesn't actually dive in immediately because I think they actually lost vision.
Yeah, they might have. He was right along the border of that range.
Yeah, he was right along the border. And
there wasn't really anything nearby.
And he crossed down through the brush. It's like, well, Cog, crap, I just lost vision on him. He's just out of range. I'll go for the next best thing, which is Diana, which they've also had success diving on previously, like you saw right in front of the Dragon, one of the first fights of the game, where they actually took out that Oracles. But yeah, this time it didn't quite work out in their favor, and Kog'Maw was safe and fine and doing plenty of damage there on the back line. But it was still a 4 for 4. You actually got a tower down. Kog'Maw managed to get that, so it wasn't too big of a loss to Najin Shield's income actually.
Yeah, and Kog'Maw right now, he's in a great situation, but it's going to be interesting to see if they can continue to protect him, because I feel like Shield is going to recognize at any moment that they need to just really pressure him. Malphite putting the pressure on bottom, they're actually kind of ignoring the Baron for a second here, but they know that they have enough damage, they have enough pressure that really Blaze isn't in a situation where they can pressure anything right now. No. So Expression, he's going to be able to take down that turret. Lulu coming down as well. It's a 5v3 mid once Rumble catches up there if they can force this fight. Diana actually engaging, goes to the minion, then jumps onto Rise, but can't get the pullback. But Cog, he's still in pursuit. He takes down Makuza easily.
Very well done. That Nocturne, he tried to throw it in the ultimate just to decrease vision, but Kog'Maw was already there, already had all the advantage he needed in order to grab that kill. And now Malphite and Lulu, though, they can get the sandwich here in mid, but everyone is so healthy. They're good. You got pings going down. There is a ward in the bush, and there's Diana with the pullback and the Rumble ult. Help him down. You got the Malphite using the ult just to try and get away, getting 4 members, but will not be enough. And that's Katarina with the ultimate down onto Lulu. You got artillery shots coming from Cog. One more will do it. No, you throw down the wild growth, but it's not going to be enough. Katarina with a Shunpo and more damage, more blades, and gets the kill and takes out that Oracles.
I don't know exactly what Najin Shield was thinking there, engaging on the backside in a 4v5 situation when they were split from their team.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't mean to at the end. They were caught out, but originally they thought they were going to, and that's why they were out of position. Diana, though, trying to get in, hits a minion actually, but gets the pullback onto Hoon. They can pick up this kill, but Rise, he's actually a menace here. He's almost picking up a couple of kills, but still goes down. Blaze is doing a great job right here.
That was quite close. You almost had Diana go down. You almost had the Kog'Maw go down, but still you managed to flash out just in time, and the damage was there. You take out the Rise. Good job. And even that, there's the ward coverage. The ward coverage was there from Shield. They knew they were coming. They knew we were close by the river, and I'm kind of surprised they actually didn't back off.
Yeah, no, it's. I think they were, kind of thinking that they'd be going for the Baron, and they lost vision of them for a little bit because they were actually a little bit too deep. They were running along the edge of the river, so they thought they were going towards the Baron, and I don't know, just kind of getting picked off as a result. But I'm curious what would have happened there if Blaze had gone for the Baron instead of going for the kill, because I feel like maybe Shield would have won the 5v3, but I don't know. I don't know that they were low enough that Rise and Nocturne could have come in. But they do the safe play. They pick up a kill. They back off. It's just not the game-ending kill that Blaze needs, or to force themselves into a dominant position. And Shield's actually still ahead because they're able to get the Dragon. They're able to keep themselves up on farm.
However, they may be ahead, but the lead that they had before,
it's drastically reduced.
It is drastically reduced. It's now only down to about 3K, maybe a little bit less. Q from Diana, still trying to get vision, and hops into the brush to meet the rest of Sword. There's
neither AD's here, but Cog's going to be here a little bit quicker.
Yeah, you got Nunu with the ultimate, keeping everyone slowed. You got plenty of damage from the Azubu 0, but here comes Kog'Maw looking to clean on up. That is the flash, plenty of damage. Going to take out the Lulu right quick. That's a double kill. Going to get the Rise kill, but there is Ezreal still being quite a bit of a mess, and fail flash from Rumble. He wanted to go over the wall, but does instead go straight into the arm, straight into the grasp of Shield and Ezreal.
Yeah, but you can see the AD carries are everything in these fights because Cog, again, Blaze, they were losing the fight pretty heavily. Like the 4v4 without Kog'Maw, it was, you know, definitely against them, but then Cog was able to come back in. A couple of them were low. He's able to pick up a couple of kills. Then when Bang, you know, showed up a little bit late, he's able to take down Kog'Maw, and, you know, he's a monster right now. So it's going to be key for either team to protect their AD, and honestly, Shield, they're going to have an easier job protecting Ezreal. I mean, it's going to be much more difficult to protect Kog'Maw for Azubu Blaze, particularly when he's not coming in on the back end of the fights. When he's there the entire fight, then they can focus him down a little bit. But Ezreal, he's able to take up that tower, he can back up, and they continue their gold lead. So 4K lead now, actually just still about a 3K lead. But I don't know, we'll kind of see how Shield's going to try and pressure this, because they know that they need to get onto that Kog'Maw. Yeah,
but Shield has significantly better options to getting to the back line than Azubu Blaze does, because you have the Nocturne and the Malphite together in conjunction with those ultimates. You see on Blaze, Diana every single time. Q, I'm going to go straight into the back line, and I'm going to pull everyone back, and it's going to be awesome. Never mind. I've been immediately focused, and I am now dead. Reasoning definitely behind getting that Zhonya's Hourglass. So at the very least, once you get an initiation, you can pop the Hourglass, be invulnerable for a second, wait for the rest of the team to catch up.
Yeah, and the Nocturne in particular, having that backline penetration along with Malphite, but Nocturne's incredibly tanky now. You know, he has the Banshee's Veil. He's already going to have the Lulu ultimate to try and help him out when he gets into that backline, and that's going to be tough for them. You know, for them to have enough damage to take him down, because he is kind of tanky. They are trying to pressure the Baron around here. They do have the Oracles at the very least. Katarina pressuring up the top, and bot lane is actually pushing for Blaze, I believe. I think they have a large enough mid wave. No, it's going to push back for Shield. So if Shield waits this out, it is going to push to Blaze's side, and Blaze might have to deal with that eventually.
The Baron is aggravated, taking some free chunks of damage down onto Nunu, and that's the best thing you can do. If you see someone in the pit looking to try and get their wards over the ridge or clearing out anywhere, just throw something in the pit, in this case of Lulu Glitterlance, make the Baron angry. He's going to attack the closest thing to him, which of course is going to be anyone inside the pit, and that is unfortunately the Nunu. He took a little bit of damage, he's down to about 2/3, but you still have this back and forth dance. Ward the pit, de-ward the pit, ward the pit, back and forth. But there is still a ward there in that line brush, and Nunu with the Oracles, like, that thing's going to expire. There's no point in wasting my time to try and grab it, and there it goes.
Yeah, and Ezreal, in the meantime, while they're having this kind of a standoff, he throws his ultimate down bottom to make sure that the lanes aren't, you know, equalizing. So it's going to help snowball that bottom lane. You know, he picks up a little bit of farm as well, but it puts some pressure on that bot turret. In another minute, it'll start to hit that turret, and they're going to have to deal with it. And you know, it's kind of a standoff right now. Both teams know that this next fight is going to be, you know, basically the deciding fight of the game. Whoever wins this, if it's a significant enough advantage, they're going to easily be able to take an inhibitor or even a
Diana on the side gets immediately Rune Prism because that bush has been rewarded. Rumble going to be the first one to go down, and Nunu to follow real quick.
Oh, how much can Cog do, though?
He's going to be a menace. Katarina is pretty much out of gas at this point. Has to run very low. There's the Ezreal. Does not evade it. Gets shaded down to about 100 health. And Shield taking that team fight in a rather dominant fashion. A 3-for-1. Katarina weak. Has to back. This is a huge Baron opportunity for Najin Shield.
They walked right into the AoE, and they were absolutely crushed. And this is what we were talking about. The Baron, that one fight is going to just have such a great impact on this game, and that Baron is absolutely huge. So everyone's actually up except for Lulu. So it's a great, you know, time for them. They can take that very easily. And the next fight, they're not going to be as vulnerable to the Cog poke. And so that's going to make things kind of difficult for Cog, because he's already, you know, trying to slowly wear some of them down. But the regen advantage is going to be huge when they try and siege some of those turrets.
And there you go. There's Ryze there in the top lane looking to farm. So now Azubu Blaze knows. It's like, yeah, we knew we lost that fight. Now we knew you got Baron. So now it's just defense mode. Get whatever objectives you can for now. Fall on back. Defend at your turrets. They could stand to lose quite a bit on this next push too. You have Najin Shield earning back their lead. 5K gold lead now back. And everyone from Blaze, they're looking up here just to try and deflect this huge, massive wave push on top.
Yeah, I mean, they want to keep the momentum on all the lanes. By pushing all the lanes, it stalls out the offense for Najin Shield. They can pick up the blue as well, but Najin Shield, they're just barreling right down the mid lane, and that's what they want. They only have one turret remaining. Najin's, or Azubu Blaze, they can clear the waves pretty easily. They have pretty nice wave clearing, and they have some poke, but the poke's not going to be that significant. So, you know, Shield can take this advantage to move between multiple lanes, or maybe even just decide to force a fight under the turret, tank a tower with how strong they are. But they're actually going for the safe play. They don't want to, risk any fights right now. They don't want to risk giving up an advantage to Blaze.
Right.
And so they can push down the bot lane, and with the gap behind the turret, they should be able to force a fight here, or just completely zone them off the turret.
And also keep in mind, Nunu died in that last fight. That is still, once again, no longer in Oracles here onto Azubu Blaze, so they cannot clear out the ward coverage, which is ever so close to them. So even if they do decide to go around, Najin Shield will actually know about the approach. But as a full 5v5 here, you got Blaze trying to defend the onslaught. You got Poke coming in occasionally every single creep wave. Najin Shield, they want this tower. They want it bad. They want to be able to continue their push, but you do still have the rest of the lanes pushing on in. Malphite with shields, just his own innate shield and the Lulu shield. Comes on, walks on up, strolls on in, takes a few tower shots, and backs down out. Here comes the next creep wave, looking for more Poke onto that tower.
Yeah, they're just slowly wearing it down. I'm curious if Shield's going to allow this to stall, though, because the minions, Azubu Blaze can really quickly just clear the minion waves, but I think they're in a situation where they can just force one fight, and with that Baron, with how tanky they are, if they force one fight and win one more fight at this point in time, that could be GG. I mean, one more fight for Shield could be a win, but a Blaze, if they can hold off, that fight's going to stall for that Baron.
The fight could be GG. You also have, but to note though, you do have Kog'Maw now with the Guardian Angel, so even if he does die in this fight, he's going to have another chance, extra life to try and come back, but hey, Ezreal actually has the same. So it could be that battle of the ADs that we've been talking about. It shows the importance. Oh no.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, this is bad.
All right, guys, so unfortunately, the replay that we have for the game is broken. It's, that's a shame.
This is weird.
But, I don't know, in this situation, we'll give us a second. We'll try and figure out, what happened at the end of that game. Najin Shield, with that Baron, they're in a great spot to try and take this game from Azubu Blaze. And, I don't know, it's going to be a pretty difficult comeback for Azubu Blaze. But Najin Shield, they're definitely in a great spot right now. Yeah,
so this is... Can't say I've ever seen this before.
No, that's fine. It's just a bug. We are running these off of LOL replay, so there are some errors actually, but we're actually going to try and load this up again. We're actually loading a backup file.
Let's load this back up and see if we can
see if we can get into the game. And in the current situation, they're actually transitioning to mid, is what it seemed like, and that's kind of what you want to do a lot of times when you're, when you have that Baron, when you have that advantage. Transition from lane to lane, pull people out of position. It'll allow for Malphite to initiate, allow for Nocturne to initiate potentially, and Azubu Blaze, they really need to be careful because one lost fight is going to end that game for them. But we'll see. I mean, Azubu Blaze, they still have that Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw's been pretty effective so far. And the real issue with the previous fights for Azubu Blaze versus Shield is that Shield's been catching them out of position. They've been wandering in the jungle. They've been, running through wards. They've been split. And the AoE for Shield has been really strong to take them down pretty quickly. It's the AoE from Ryze in particular. It's Malphite's initiation with the Ryze backup, that really quickly drops them.
All right, let's give this another shot. We reloaded the replay.
I think that it's broken.
I think this one may also be broken. Let's play it out though. I just want to make sure.
Okay.
So here we are back. This is where we were previously, right before that tower went down. So we have the push here from Shield coming on in. Just they're waiting for that next creep wave to come on in. But yeah, I think this may be a small issue. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out. You got the shots coming on in from Ezreal to try and just keep Azubu Blaze on back. You got some decent poke coming from Kog'Maw though right there onto the back line, but here comes the next creep wave. And this is where Azubu Blaze decides to back off just for a little bit. Yes, the tower does go down. Push continuing on in. The minions do go in, and yeah, that is unfortunate. That is vastly unfortunate. Replays, man.
In the meantime, though, it's, sorry for that, guys, but this is a rebroadcast. We're trying to, show what's going on with the Korean qualifiers. And there are 8 teams. We have already seen Azubu, Frost, and Najin Sword. They have qualified for the bracket stage. So they've made it out of the group stage into the bracket stage. There's going to be 2 teams from this side, too. Azubu Blaze versus Najin Shield. And I actually, I asked Nick to look up the actual games for us. So we won't be able to see the end of that game, but we can tell you what happened. And right off the bat, I'll tell you, Azubu Blaze, they actually lost that game, and I don't know, I was kind of curious to see, how that would happen. It seemed like it was a pretty back and forth thing. I don't know how much longer the game went on, but you know, he'll message us real quick, and we'll get that for you. Hopefully, the rest of the games that we have for the evening aren't, you know, broken, don't have the similar issues.
Well, I can tell you right now, CG Entis versus Zenix Storm, there were a lot of connection issues, so we actually only have the second half of the replay.
Oh, okay.
So, at the very least, though, the first half wasn't all too engaging. So we're skipping the boring part, actually.
Okay.
So
well,
we got that at least.
All right, that's fine. Yeah, so we'll take a look for that for you guys. Another quick reminder, 7 o'clock tonight, we are actually going to be having a match for our NA. It's our seeding. So it's a seeding, and also first place does get a free paid trip to IPL5. So the teams that are competing, Mono, Dynamic, Curse is actually not competing, I don't believe.
They're in China.
They're in China,
now.
So they're part of the WEM series. It's Masters.
It's a World Esports Masters.
World Esports Masters.
Yes.
So good luck to them as the American hope, I guess. But so it's Mono.Ferus, Meat Playground, Dynamic. I believe tonight is Meat Playground versus Dynamic. Is that correct?
That's what the schedule says. I believe that is still the case.
Okay, good, because I just took a guess on the second team. I knew it was Meat Playground. So 50 chance I got it right. So that's at 7 o'clock, guys. We'll be able to take a look at that. We're actually going to go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be back to you with the next game, tell you what happened at the end of that game. Once again, you can check out all of our stuff, IGN.com/IPL5 for information there, and definitely, see you after this quick commercial break.